to another issue of the XenoChat Gazette. I'm one of the hosts, along with Justin.
Hey guys.
All right, we got several guests with us today. First up, we have Robin.
Ah.
We have Anthony.
Hey everybody, what's up?
We have Marie.
Hello.
We have B.
Buenos dias.
And we have Chris.
Hi.
Okay. All right. So you can probably guess what we're going to be talking about on this issue, but we're going to wait a little bit before we get into our screaming about a certain announcement that happened this past week. But so first up, we're going to just talk about our little figure corner of various Xeno figures and miscellaneous stuff that have popped up. So I know we kind of mentioned it last episode very briefly, but the Xenogears Structure Arts Volume 3 figures are available for pre-order now. They are up on AmiAmi, and I'm sure other places as well. So I know, Robin, you've at least pre-ordered this, right?
I'm weak for Rico.
I just... because it's got 3 figures in it, and one of them is, Rico's gear. But it also has Veltal Id, and is that another Veltal? Or
I think
Look, I saw Seer and I blanked out.
What were you saying, Marie?
I think it was. Hold on.
It's Veltal 2.
Oh, Veltal 2.
Hey, well, I don't have a figure of Veltal 2. I only have Veltal 1 and Veltal Id and a theoretical figure that I could
Yeah,
make.
honestly, like part
on
of me
Xenogears.
wants to get it, but then I'm like, oh, there's so many pre-orders next year, and like it's so this one kit is so expensive for unpainted kit, so I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I still haven't finished the figure that I started putting together for our mech kit episode. So
It's also like it's coming out in the middle of like con season 2, and I'm just like, why couldn't you give me another date?
Oh yeah, July 2025. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just like, oh, I don't know about that almost $200, bro.
Yeah. But there's actually quite a few Xeno related things on AmiAmi, things that I found. Like obviously we mentioned Volume 3 and Bart. There's also the Xenogears FORMISM acts for Veltal, which is that really expensive Veltal figure.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that's right. My wallet said no, man. We got to draw a hard limit here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
like,
same.
like
Same here.
over $200, and I think it's like almost 8 inches tall. It's kind of a big one. So
yeah, my apartment also said, "Hey, buddy, where are you gonna fucking put that?" I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So there's that, and honestly, even for some of the other series, there's some interesting stuff on Ami. Like I noticed, Ami has a pre-owned KOS-MOS, but like the KOS-MOS from the Monsieur Bome line. I don't know if you guys remember that from like the mid 2000s.
Yeah, actually, I double checked, and I do own that one, but I had gotten
too.
it like used before. But yeah, it's a nice one.
Yeah,
I found that for nice. Tyler.
Yeah, you did.
It's not that expensive either. It's only $32.54 USD. So it looks like it's in good condition too. So yeah, if that's something you want, get that. There's also
I didn't even think it said it was actually new. Like it's in box, but it's like some of the gold
pre-owned.
It's pre-owned.
Oh,
yeah,
unopened.
There's also a Telos, the 1/8 alter scale figure, so that's good too. There's also the KOS-MOS as well from episode 1. There's also the Max Factory Telos from episode 3 that's up as well, pre-owned. There's also the swimsuit for KOS-MOS from Xenosaga 3, which is nice. Blade 3 has a ton of acrylic standees. Those things are still on AmiAmi, guys. Of course, the Uni figure is up for pre-order as well. They even have the Nia scale figure on, I think it's on sale. I think it's got a little bit of a discount. That is currently, $156.71. That's not bad.
Ooh, and it's a beautiful figure.
I know it's. I really wanted to get that one actually.
I will give a warning to people though. Is her hair in the back taking a lot of space? So I hope you guys have space if you buy it. I know it's almost a whole row for me because like her hair in the back takes all the space.
There's a pre-built siren.
I don't know if it's pre-built. Oh no, that's order closed. Never mind. I thought they had the Skell on pre-order again, but no, they don't. We'll talk more about that later. Yeah. Other than that, they got a couple Pyres and Mithras on there as well. There is a Mithra that is currently 135.79. So yeah, it looks like it's
wrong with it.
I don't see any notes on it.
Was it pre-owned?
It is pre-owned. So yeah, that's not a bad deal for that. Yeah, and then other than figures, there's of course the Meliazine that is currently up for pre-order through the 25th of November. Definitely check that out. There's a whole bunch of really cool art in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have different tiers, so if there's one that's like too expensive, they have different categories and comes with different items. So it looks very impressive. So definitely support them. It's pretty
always
cool.
Support fanzines when you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and one more thing to just quickly shout out: VGP, the goats. They got all sorts of reprints, right? They did make a little announcement on Twitter that the Xenoblade 2 that they have right now, that is the most up-to-date revision of the game that is on the cartridge. So this is cart revision 006. So for those of you who care about having like your Switch games complete on cart, that's probably the most up-to-date version of the game out the box. So if that interests you, I would recommend go picking up a copy of Xenoblade 2 on VGP and it is currently $57.50 USD.
I'd like to just once again shout out VGP because they are truly the MVP of
yeah,
the physical
honestly
industry right now.
Honestly, like they're Canadian, and like ever since I started ordering there, I'm like, I'm never going anywhere else ever again. Like their service is peak.
Yeah, if you don't live in Canada, they're pretty fair with worldwide shipping.
Yep.
I believe they have a distribution center in New York. So
oh no shit.
You so yeah, if you live like in Jersey, New York, you'll actually get stuff pretty darn fast from them.
And honestly, like even like if I were to do a further shout out about them to further convince you to shop with them, is I had an issue at some point where something got stolen. They did the claim so fast and replaced the item so fast within like 2 weeks it was settled. And also recently I did a pre-order, my first true pre-order with them, because before that I was mostly buying like games on sale or whatever. But they sent it early. So yeah, really good service.
Check them out. We are not sponsored by them.
We are not
sponsored.
We
love them. Maybe we should ask them.
Nobody has really said, "Oh yeah, this podcast is about a niche topic has taken off. Maybe we should give them money."
Yeah, no one's.
Manscaped hasn't even given us money.
XenoChat podcast at gmail.com. Please reach out.
But anyways, let's get back to the topic at hand, which is the other day, a random ass Tuesday, Nintendo just decided, hey, let's just drop a trailer for a Xenoblade Cross remaster on the Nintendo Switch.
As if we haven't been asking for this for the last 5 years?
Woo! 10
just
years.
Like, funny because it was like early. I'm still just waking up and I see that and I'm like, wait, what? And I was checking the account to make sure it wasn't like the troll Nintendo accounts that people made.
Yeah, a friend sent me a screenshot of a text from Wario64, and I'm like, why would you send me a screenshot of of a tweet? I'm like, this is Photoshop? But then when I watched the trailer, that's when it actually hit.
Yeah. I was at work and Ellery
same.
Yeah, he's like, it's getting re-released. I'm like, I'm at work, I cannot check.
I was
the real
at
experience. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was at work too, and I saw Justin post about it, and then I went to look at Twitter, and I was seeing a bunch of screenshots, and I didn't see the video without sound at first because I was at work, but I sneaked in and I was looking. I was like, "Damn, it's real! It's the real account! What the fuck?"
The real experience of being an X fan is having been conditioned over the past decade to, well, we're not getting X. So the second we see X, we're like, that's fake. That's fine. And then I'm at work in training. I see it. And I can't watch for like an hour. And I was like, that's fake. And then I go on my lunch and I see it and I'm like, oh.
It just immediately we're gaslighting ourselves. Just like, no. No.
Yeah, though honestly, considering considering Monolith have control over their IP now, and it's not like a scenario like copyright limbo like like Xenosaga or whatever. Like I felt like it would eventually happen, but I did not expect it to happen on the Switch. I was
Exactly.
expecting it maybe more for the next system.
Yes, that was my thinking too. Because I remember an earlier an interview several years ago that Takahashi did, where he was said how it would be like, I guess, super kind of complicated to port the game to Switch. So
Yeah, because
I was.
When you think about it, the Wii U version was coded to work with the Wii U with double screen and all that. So like, I imagine the like coding nightmare to like recode it to all like rework the whole thing to work with just one screen and like work differently in general must have been quite a big task.
As well as that, they'd also have to justify the costs because it's very expensive to develop nowadays. So they'd also have to really wheel up the fan once. And I think early on, I thought that if they weren't going to do it then, they weren't going to do it at all. And then the games just kept selling and selling and selling like hotcakes. And now they're at the point they can afford to do a project like that. It's not a risk anymore.
Yeah, it's not a risk, but also like they've been helping Nintendo so much. They've been like expanding so much that I feel like at this point, like Nintendo will just be like, yeah, sure, green light, whatever.
They have the power now. They've earned their place. They're like, yep, go ahead. You're good.
You're good. Do what you want. We don't care. We know it's gonna sell. It's fine. It's fine.
And it's nice because it's not it's the definitive edition, so it's not like a 1-to-1 port. There are enhancements that we can obviously see, especially like with the character designs or the model changes for some of the characters and enemies. What do we think about that?
I like all of it. I need a different shot for Lynn. Everyone else I love. I need to see Lynn at a different angle, emoting slightly different. She looks a little more dead than her last model in the face. But besides that, I think everything looks absolutely
I think it's just
gorgeous.
that with Lynn it looks more weird because we've been so used to her looking a bit like Momo that now like the completely different face and everything, like it looks like it's not Lynn. It's Lynn, but it's not Lynn, kinda. Like
For
the
me,
different
it's the
style
eyes.
makes it weird. Yeah, but
Something
that's
about
the thing.
the eyes.
The eyes have changed the style, so like it's a bit weird. Like the expressions are a bit more expressive, but at the same time, like the eyes on Lynn looks a bit weird because like it's as if they tried to do in between. It came out a bit weird, but I guess we'll probably get used to it like over time.
We'll see more shots too. I think she's emoting a way that doesn't help at all. I think it's that specific scene.
Yeah. So, I don't remember, but was that scene actually in the original game?
It is, but it's a little different in the definitive
like,
edition.
It looks like they redesigned her because like she doesn't have both Monado clips. It seems like she
yeah,
only has
she have one on the one side, and her hair is a bit more parted.
Her hair is.
She also has purple eyes now. They're like a purplish brown.
The reason I said this because like she almost looks a little older.
Yeah, she does a little bit.
So I was just like, I just had like this weird thought. I'm like, wait a second, was that scene in the original game? Because like, what if that's like a new story scene or something? I don't know.
So they may be trying to make her look older to be more serious. Go ahead.
I have not actually watched the trailer. I kind of just saw that it was coming out, and I was like, "Cool! I no longer care. Like, I don't need anything else." Like, so I don't know any of the specific nuance. I was just like, "I'm buying it, and I know the story, so I'll just be surprised." I guess
to analyze because I was curious about the changes. But yeah, also Elma, I absolutely am in love with the new design. The only thing that's a bit weird for me is like the haircut in the front that's a bit more squarish. Like I was like, okay, I see where you're going with this, but at the same time, there's a part of me that preferred their hair being a bit more like, further down.
Something I think about that, it doesn't clip as much because the hair is also a lot more like stiff in the front, where in the Wii U her hair was longer and it clipped into her armor all the time.
True.
I think they're trying to like help with that overall.
Yeah, like they did rework stuff a lot. Also, I had noticed like the other difference I've noticed is the MC that they showed. Like they showed the same MC as like the OG trailers back in the day, but it feels
took his
like
hair spike.
Yeah, they took out the air spike. I'm like, no, the air spike, give it back.
And I'm happy it's a setting, like it was an option to turn it on, so I'm sure it's back. But if it's not back, Monolith, count your fucking days. Oh my god, why?
Yeah, I'll be mad too. It's like it's like a signature thing with
okay.
Also, speaking of the style change, it's yet another game that Tanaka has had his style reworked in, and it's only happened twice so far. But it is kind of wild that we have two situations that happened in for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Though the only mixed feeling I have about this is the fact that there was something about it, like the way it was before, because it was a lot more like fully like Tanaka style. Like it made me feel like I was kind of playing Xenosaga because it was like it felt very similar, but now it's gonna be like more Xenoblade, if it makes sense. So yeah, maybe the models will look a bit less like Xenosaga, but it's still gonna be very nice and fun to play with.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to find a nice like middle ground between
Yeah.
the Xenoblade Cross like Wii U visuals versus Xenoblade 2. Like it's more saturated, but it's not quite as saturated as say Xenoblade 2 and 3, which I think it works for this game. Like I think if they went all the way like what they did even with Xenoblade 1 Definitive Edition, I feel like that might have alienated like fans of the old style a little bit too much. I think.
Yeah, but at the same time, it would not have fit the world too well. Too like, I feel like it's better that they went with a in between like this because I feel
think
like
so too.
fits
I
everything
absolutely
better.
think it's better they did it this way because if they went like even if they went for how Xenoblade 1 Definitive Edition looked, I feel like people probably wouldn't have been a fan of it.
There's another big reason I think this works better, where Definitive Edition 1 had kept the NPCs the same style, but made the characters a drastically different style. In this, the NPC characters, you can see they all look pretty much exactly the same, just the different lighting on the skin, similar to DE1. But the characters haven't changed as drastically. While they do look different, they still, like, Lao looks different, but he looks very close to the style that it had in the original. Like, so he doesn't look as jarring next to the NPCs like the first game's Definitive Edition.
But yeah, talking about this, I guess we could talk also about how the textures seems higher. Like I did the post earlier, like a video of like the comparison and stuff. But basically I've watched a few videos like this because I was curious to see the difference like side to side. And yeah, the textures do seem higher. The shadow quality does seems a lot better. There was a video, I couldn't find it, but there was a video that had tested the render distance of like kind of like what it looked like back on the Wii U versus how it looked like in the trailers, kind of. And it did feel like maybe in the trailer the render distance would be better, as in like things would be a bit less crunchy in the distance and details would show a bit more, which would be nice because like there's one thing on the Wii U I remember is that when I was going around, sometimes I would be like going around too fast and things would just suddenly pop in my face and kill me.
Yep. Yep. I remember enemies just like, poof, I'm here. Like, oh, okay, I'm dead.
That happened a lot. It was just like it was just like a big scary part where like the enemies would just appear in your face and like, oh no, wait, I need to run. But yeah, I think it'll be nice if the render distance is better because it's one thing that was a bit of a shortcoming on the Wii U. But even then, like honestly, what they did on the Wii U was like borderline witchcraft. I don't even know how they made this game on the Wii U. I don't know.
So I think there is one not big. We'll see how it goes as we go further. There is kind of a downfall graphically I've noticed so far. They really turned up the motion blur exclusively in cutscenes. And I think that kind of plays into what you were just saying, because in the cutscenes there were like comparisons showing the like trees and like New LA being rendered from all the way far back.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's amazing, but at the same time, can the cutscene not do that, please? It's a little aggressive, and I think it's gonna get toned down. I think it's a mix of style and performance.
But also, like, probably the cutscenes might also be like a bit lower resolution because from what I get in when I got into some of the comparison, they seem to say that, oh, it feels like it might have been boosted in resolution higher than what it usually is.
Yeah, it's showing 1080p resolution compared to
yeah,
usual.
exactly. And like, so it's possible that maybe their old cutscenes were not fully that, and maybe they did some stuff to make it look less crunchy. I don't know.
I hope so, because it performs fine. Like when you go like out in the field and you're like going fast and rotating the camera, there's none of that motion blur. So I don't think it's the game struggling.
I think it's
but
just
we'll
them
see.
that tried something, but who? It's also like this was the first trailer, so we'll see
Yeah.
like as things
Exactly.
goes on, and they
We don't know
show
how
maybe
old this
more.
trailer is, because they could have been
Yeah.
holding on to this for a Switch 2 reveal as well, as everyone has been thinking. So it could be that they got to a point where like, well, we got to release it eventually. So, and they just
But also,
popped it out.
I
Could
don't
be an
think
old
it's
trailer.
such a bad move to
No.
maybe put it there, because like more people will be able to just get it now. So
Yep.
So yeah, it's not bad. And if the Switch 2 is compatible to the previous thing, like maybe
Exactly.
it'll still be fine and the online will still work with both, but we shall see.
And I like the strategy that they do where this game comes out March 20th of next year. That's like 5 months away, or 4 or 5 months away. And it's like it's not going to be a super long wait. I love them
Right
for that.
before my birthday.
I wouldn't have minded if they waited a little bit longer, because Monster Hunter comes out less than a month before, but it's fine. I'll find money, I guess.
Honestly,
Thanks,
there's
Nintendo.
5 million
So
games
mining.
coming between now and then.
It's
Like
so much.
Well,
there's just so much.
And we were discussing, doesn't Atelier Yumiya also come out the same day as?
It's around that time.
I think Lumiya comes on the 21st.
Okay, it was like
They're back to back.
So you know what the solution is? You buy more consoles.
Well, or you just,
How is that a solution to anything?
It is.
or you could just buy just both games.
Yeah, why don't
need
you?
to-
Like, how does another console help?
You play with your feet.
But you have to watch.
I only have the 2 eyes.
I will say it is kind of funny. Like, I know you guys were kind of touching on this, but it's kind of funny how a lot of people were thinking that like this game is going to tie into just the next Switch. I even saw a thread that said something like, "Did the Xenoblade Cross DE announcement just give us a Switch 2 launch date?" Because like some people generally believe that
Oh my
it's gonna launch on the same
god.
day.
Really?
They're tired. They need something to talk about. They're running out of income. Like all the sites got to come up with something. The Twitter blue clicks. Like,
But this wasn't
They
on
gotta work
Twitter,
off
actually.
nothing.
This was no,
Oh.
actually, hold on, I just found it. Yeah, this was on Reset Era.
Well,
that makes just as much sense.
Well,
Yeah.
Kotaku was like, instead of announcing Switch 2, Nintendo announced a definitive edition of Xenoblade X. I'm like, okay, shut up, Kotaku.
And we deserve it. We deserve it.
deserve
Kotaku,
We
it.
were
mind your business.
good. We were good this year.
We were really good.
Well.
Okay, but speaking of this year, this was way sooner than I expected it. I mean, even like less than 3 weeks ago, we were talking in the chat about what we expected to be happening. I didn't expect anything until like the middle or end of next year out of them. I thought they were going to take their time.
Me too.
How
and like,
long have they
especially
been working on this?
We know also that they've been working on a new project too. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, damn.
Mhm.
What else is coming? What are you?
They've been hiring
cooking?
like crazy.
What are you
It's
cooking?
for
Are you
them.
gonna also announce like your new game next year? I'm gonna
Xenoblade
die.
X2, please. 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 Please.
Please.
Please.
Yeah, because that's the thing I wonder. Because the Xenoblade X Definitive Edition is going to have new story elements. So I wonder. It's pure speculation at this point because there's not a lot to go on besides that little ending scene at the end of the trailer. But because part of me was like, oh, are they just going to like wrap up Xenoblade X so they never have to make another Xenoblade X game? Or are they going to make another cliffhanger and be like, yep, we're going to make another one?
I don't
know.
think they would have said the story truly never ends if they actually intended on this being the final conclusion for X things as a whole. Whether it be that there's a cliffhanger or that there's another game coming, I don't think we're going to get a clean, hey, here are all the answers, we're done, this game is over with. Thank you for your time.
Okay, but anyone who doesn't want to hear spoilers for the very ending of Cross, just cover your ears for like a little bit while I make an incredibly dumb joke.
Okay,
I'll give you a little moment.
We'll tell you. We'll tell you. when we
Please
come back.
evacuate.
Okay.
I'm fine.
So are we good? Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, Elma goes like, wait, what? Everything's flooded. It's something about this planet. And then 2 seconds later turns around and goes, oh, it's this. And everyone just goes, oh, and that's it.
We found the answer. We found the key that we lost. There it is.
Let's extend
so
that.
Just like, oh, that makes
cutscene.
perfect sense. And then it just fades to black. That's it.
I will say,
everyone can tune
not
back
spoilery. In. Yeah, we're all good because this is not spoilery, but I would find it absolutely hilarious if whatever this new story content is just called like the key we've lost, and we actually get the answers to what the fuck that meant this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't
I also
spoilery.
wonder
I have
if they're
what
gonna.
you're talking about.
I was gonna say
it's a song title.
I also wonder if like they're going to rework certain cutscenes to be in line with like certain other things we've heard in other games. Like, for example, I'm gonna be vague about this, but like, I wonder if they're gonna try to tie into the radio broadcast.
They might.
So
I'm also wondering if like a character, I don't know which, like, so that's why I'm leaving it as vague as I am.
That's why I'm trying
just
to be
has
vague
like a random fucking core crystal now.
I don't like doing this, but I have to say there is a
like,
Nintendo article that says standalone.
Or they'll try to just get the fog back in there.
I hope Fog's back in there. Why would they take him out?
I wrote in the notes that I really hope they don't do that. I want this to be a standalone. I enjoy it as a standalone. If they tie it in somehow to 1, 2, or 3.
So that's what I'm saying. There's actually Nintendo Malaysia, which is very weird. It's Malaysia. They posted about X, and they did talk about it as a standalone game.
Good.
To be fair, Takahashi did also say Xenoblade 2 was not connected to Xenoblade 1.
Exactly.
Before the game came out. So we'll see. We'll see.
That was a lie.
They often do that.
And we looked at the lie detector machine. That was a lie.
Yeah. I have a feeling.
Now, to be fair, some of that was translation.
There's probably gonna be something there, like, or they'll rework an old.
We're gonna have something.
Because like,
remember, things can technically connect without being rule breaking and directly connected.
Like even look at just Alvis from Xenoblade 1, how they changed his key to the core crystal.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling we might see them like retroactively change something.
I don't mind slight references, but I don't want this really like a full-on connection, you know?
Yeah, I like the fun references they had in the original Xenoblade X, where you could...
If it's going to be a connection, let it be a shared universe type of thing, rather than, oh, hey, this thing that you liked all along is actually directly connected to this.
Yeah.
Changing your mind.
If it's a shared universe, I don't mind that as much, because like it can still be standalone and like have fun.
And it makes sense for the series.
Yeah. It does.
I wonder if we'll also see what happened to that Telethia at the end of Future Connected.
I think that's exactly what they intended when they made that, which is why I said earlier, how long have they been working on this? Because that interview where he said it was too big a project was 2018. That was released in 2020. And then Xenoblade 3 was finished relatively early. How fucking long have they been working on this? I keep circling back to that, but how long have they been working on this that it looks this good? It's this ready. Like
probably a while. They've been cooking on this for a while for sure.
Hopefully, anyway. Otherwise, it'll be like crap. But honestly, they can make.
I have faith. They have a big team.
They have a big team. They've been hiring. Like I'm hopeful, but I'm also like trying to keep my hopes for what changes. Yeah, exactly.
And they just need to really hone in on the marketing, because they really failed at that during the Wii U days, trying to market.
To be fair, the Wii U was kind of a console that was not helping it.
It was that like
now
gamer era that didn't help.
But also back then, like Xenoblade was still kind of like it was starting to be popular, but it was not. It had not cracked the. It
was still niche
now yet, you know. It was still niche. Now we're pretty much at the mainstream. A lot of people know Xenoblade, so I'm just like, and now everything is on the Switch, so like people can play them easily. They don't have an excuse anymore. They can play it all, and now the last one is joining their friends. So, yeah.
Another thing, like, to show how popular Xenoblade is some of the kids I work with, we're talking 12, 13-year-olds, they actively play Xenoblade. I had one who said that, oh yeah, I have a Wii U, and guess what I'm playing? I'm playing Xenoblade Cross. I'm like,
let's go.
Oh yeah, high five, kid.
They even know the right word.
And
they didn't call it Xenoblade X, you're right.
I call it X.
That's a cool kid.
I call it X too.
I call it X.
But what I'm saying is it's crossing generations.
Wow.
But yeah, it's gotten a lot more like, mainstream, and then it gets the big announcement and stuff. So I have faith that this time this game will like explode in sales because people will just want to have it because it's Xenoblade.
This is also after Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Now people have a massive want for open world Nintendo games.
I'm a bit burnt out,
think
to
if
be
they
honest,
hone
but
in,
I do like
am
it
too,
still.
but they can market it really well. They can really lean into that with this. There's a different
honestly,
context for this release.
The world of Xenoblade X is honestly like the most pretty like open world ever made. Like I don't care what people say. Like the details in that
Go to
world are
Civil
just
Night
so
and tell me
pretty.
it's not.
Everything is just so pretty. Nothing feels empty. Everything is so pretty.
And there's just so much to look at and on so many like levels, which I mean very literally, like there's a lower level, there are cave systems, there are upper levels, like there's a lot of exploring to do. Like I don't even know how many hours I have on the original, and it's just like I haven't figured out some of the pathways.
Yeah.
I love Xenoblade X and I haven't even finished it.
Same.
I didn't finish it either, but like I just got blocked with something that was like big difficulty spike, and I got
same. I got stuck and I never finished.
And this is the thing that I'm personally worried about, because it's like there's a lot that you could say that's really good about this game, but I just hope that people know what they're getting themselves into with Cross. Because like even back then, when Cross got it revealed, the initial hype was real. Like people were super excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And,
honestly, I played this game nonstop when it came out. I was super excited, but once I was done exploring the world and got into the grind phase of the game, I was like, okay, no, I'm done. Bye.
Yeah.
Especially because most people crit path, and I did that my first time, and I didn't like X my first time.
And that's something that like I think people need to understand, is that this is one of those games where if you're just going to crit path it, you might come out of it a bit underwhelmed, and you may and like it's also the kind of game that like you will hit a wall if you don't have some understanding of the systems in place.
Yeah, and like the systems are very complex.
Yeah, and this game doesn't always do the best job at explaining that to you. So you could be stuck at a boss for hours and be like, how am I not doing this? And then it's because you didn't look at a certain mechanic or you didn't level up a certain skill. And that's not always obvious to the player. And I think, and yeah, you could say the same thing could happen in the other Xenoblades, but I think it's
this one was
much
really
more tutorials in this one.
Yeah, this one is just like, because it has like this whole class system and everything, like it's just like if you don't have the right class for the right thing, you might, get screwed.
Yeah.
But also, in my case, I will not mention the story because like we're trying to be a bit more vague here currently for this one. But there was a section where I needed to do a mecha fight, but I did not have the next mecha because they cost way too much. And I was poor. And so I got pretty much blocked in the story because I did not expect it to be that. And the NPCs were also very dumb at this mech battle and kept dying, and like they were making all the enemies come on us, and like I was just like, guys, please stop.
It gets so overwhelming so fast when you do not, if you're not exactly where the game expects you to be in terms of like progression and stats and builds. Good fucking luck. Even I got to the final boss, loved everything up till then, loved the game, and I was just slightly under ready. I have not been playing nonstop for these past 2 years, but I have not finished the game for the past 2 years because I have not felt like the game is approachable in the state that it is with the setup that I had as my personal experience, which is also part of it. It's really a person-to-person basis. What you do truly creates your experience. You will get out of it what you put into X, for better and for worse, because there's also manuals that tell you everything compared to having, I don't know, normal tutorials built into the game, which I also am hoping they will find a workaround for, because there's no manuals
honestly,
on Switch.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things in terms of like what could be the menus that were not, that was kind of pissing me off because I'm just like, okay, but make it clearer, like like there's so many mechanics. If you're playing multiple games or whatever, like you're just gonna forget a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have little callbacks or something that we can see a bit better in game. But also, one thing that was also pissing me off the most is like, you know, these gathering quests that are just like, oh yeah, go get an item at like whatever, like it just barely tells you where it is. And like the game does not keep, if you had this item before and you discovered it, the game does not keep track of where it is. So then it's just like you have nothing in game that will tell you where this item is. You have to look it up online, and that pissed me off so much. I hated gathering quests.
That was
and
the
then you
worst
also
part
have
of
to
older
play with the
Xenoblade.
gacha of will it
Yeah.
actually drop?
Yeah.
I'm hoping they take that from Xenoblade Definitive Edition or the first
like
games.
honestly, the newer Xenoblades, what I did like is that you would see a little icon of the item when you were getting closer of what type of item it was, and you could get an idea of, oh yeah, this is probably what I need. Like
Did
honestly,
Definitive Edition have it?
I thought
like
the
for
first.
one?
I believe so. I believe.
Yeah,
so.
it had like if you were like
it had
doing
it.
quests and there was like a specific item you needed, there was like an exclamation mark symbol.
Yeah.
On
Well,
them.
Yeah.
Does it show the type though, like 2 and 3 did? Like how if you're picking up like
No,
a
but
fish,
it would
show you
like
the
if it
fish?
was
Okay.
something that you needed for a quest, it would show up as like,
It would show
hey,
up.
hey,
Yeah.
grab me.
I'll take that at least.
Yeah.
Literally
Mhm.
anything
Oh,
helps.
yeah.
Because old Xenoblade games trying to find items for
Or
quests,
at
if you
least
do not
show
have a
me a
wiki
zone.
pulled up, oh my god.
Show me a clear zone, a
Right.
clear circle zone that
Something.
the item is
Yep.
here somewhere. Search that. You know, just
Mhm.
because like it's so annoying to just tell me, oh yeah, go grab that. Okay, but where it is.
Yep.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I might be
Good luck.
remembering this wrong, but I feel like Cross did have for not like it did shit to help you find items, but like if you had a quest to like find enemies, it would be like, yeah, they're somewhere here, but it
Yes.
didn't take into consideration like, okay, are they here on the upper level? Are they here
Yep.
on the middle level? Are they here on
That's
the
another thing.
lower
The maps I
level?
feel need
Ooh,
also
that's a
an
different rant.
overall to be a bit like clearer, but we shall see how they do that because like maps with multiple levels have not been their forte.
Absolutely.
And on that
not.
point, I need, and I want them to listen closely, I need them to get the follow ball under control. Because if I have
Yes.
another quest
The
where the
follow
follow
ball
ball
is
should be
shit.
taking me straight in 20 feet, and it takes me on a 50-mile detour all the way through Oblivion, all the way
Yes.
through Silbalum, just to get to the other corner of Primordia, I am going to flip my fucking shit. They have had multiple games to get this together. I need them to get that together. I
I
cannot
do
it
love how,
anymore.
like, in the game, they were like, look, we're working out the kinks, okay? Just deal.
Let me finish.
I'm going to hope that it would be funny to me if in the revised edition they do fix it, but it starts off as the same shit and you have to do a quest to get it to not
I would be
such
fine with
ass.
That would be amazing, actually. I would think that would be a great upgrade, but please let it be a fucking upgrade. I can't do this again. I remember very specifically there's a story quest in Oblivia. It's the big one before the big reveal, hint, hint, in Chapter 5, hint, hint. And trying to find those robots in that camp, and you're trying to, like, go around, and I was like, oh, so I should go this way. And it made me circle all the way around, and it brought me back to the exact point that I was, next to a bridge that was behind me, that I could have walked across to get to that location.
Oh my god, this is terrible.
Yeah, it was
But
bad.
I think I remember I was barely using it because of that.
Yep.
Because it was so stupid.
Yeah.
Or like
It was fun.
I would look at where it was going, and then I'd be like, no, I'm not going that way. And I would just like, you know, like when you don't want to follow your stupid GPS in the
Yep.
car, and you just
You know-
say,
you know
no, I'm just gonna jump here. Bye.
On
Exactly.
that point, I do wonder if exploration is going to get tampered with any, because something, and I got this pointed out on Twitter, and I found it really interesting. And I don't think this is really a spoiler per se, because it's not story related, but we never get skells from the other races. They like contribute to the businesses and stuff, but we never get any of their skells. And I wonder if maybe part of that end content could be giving us those skills, and they have like different exploration skills or something like that.
That could be fun. Yeah.
Because all the cars, they're cool, but one, they control really wonky. Please fix that. I would like to use the cars without it feeling like I'm drifting while drunk. But also, I feel like that would be just fun, because it's not like you're really gonna break the game as is. You already break the game by flying around. Just give us like different traversal methods. Make one of them like specialize in water, one of them specialize in not climbing necessarily, but like ground travel in comparison. Like give us something, because as is, you kind of just hone in on the one that's the cutest or the one that does the most damage, and I feel like that would be a way to incentivize using them more, but also making that mechanic not feel kind of pointless by the end, because like, yeah, you unlock gear and stuff by donating to it, but you don't really get super big rewards besides, oh hey, here's more gear to do more damage,
and
which feels very
I'm glad that you're like mentioning the skulls, because this goes back to what I was saying about like, I hope people go into this with the right expectations, because this was a point of contention from the original release. People, if you've never played Blade Cross and you see the trailers and you see all the cool robots, just know you're gonna have to work for that. You are not getting
about
those
80
robots.
hours.
You are not going to get those robots in the first 5 hours. You're not going to get those robots in the first 10 hours. You're not even going to get them in the first 20 hours.
Yeah, I think
it took me like 60 hours till I started getting the robots, and then I think it was like another like 5 to 10 until I was able to actually fly.
Mind you, it's not even a problem of how long it takes you to get there necessarily. You also have to do some bullshit quests involving those bullshit spawns we discussed earlier.
And
you have to do it twice.
You also need a lot of money.
I hope y'all like maps, and I hope y'all like optimizing, because Frontier Nav is about to be your friend for about 400 hours.
Yeah, just I do hope they explain Frontier Nav better, because I never managed to optimize it to get a lot of money. I was just always poor.
And
I was living in poverty.
And Frontier Nav is exactly the thing that had me nervous about. One of the things that had me nervous about this remaster is that you only have one screen now. So the thing that was cool about the Wii U version was that you always had the other screen, so you can make those updates in real time. And it was kind of cool that like you kind of created this nice little synergy of you playing the game and then updating Frontier Nav as you go around, put down probes, and make sure you optimize everything. You can kind of, it's really nice to do fast travel on that. So it's just really cool. It's made for a very smooth experience. I don't know how they're going to adapt that to the Switch.
Maybe
I have a cursed, interesting perspective.
Honestly, but
I have a very cursed perspective on this, because I actually played a lot of X on launch on the gamepad exclusively, which is really gross in retrospect, and I should not.
I did as well.
I did,
but doing that and just swapping on the screen, it wasn't as bad as a lot of the conversations I've had over the past decade have said. Is it good? No, but it's not. It doesn't break the immersion as much as you would expect. But they really need to do a workaround for the masses, because I'm one person.
It's not, I don't necessarily think it's that it breaks immersion. It's more just like, I don't know if it's going to be as smooth of an experience as it was on the Wii U, where you had the gamepad, you had the
same
stylus.
for the map. Like you had the map, you could just select like a teleport and go there. You know.
I do think this makes me curious on two things. One, I think this may be a game that also thrives a little in handheld, since the Switch is touchscreen. But two, and we can talk about this later, kind of ties into what HK said earlier, but I am wondering how this game is going to be in handheld, because Xenoblade games on Switch have been very notorious for very low dynamic resolutions in handheld. And this game, for multiple reasons, probably shouldn't be doing that. One of the biggest ones being the UI. So I'm curious to see how they're going to handle that, because I think that is also going to play a very big part in how people's experience with Frontier Nav is. I truly think if there is touchscreen interactability, as long as it's not sub 240p, I think we may see a lot of people actually like playing in handheld for the first time in a Xenoblade game, compared to all the other ones on Switch, where for the most part I usually hear people maybe like it, but having extreme caveats all the way to outright hating it, because you really can't see super well, and X is not the game to have that on.
Hey now, I play primarily in handheld.
And you're not the masses.
I don't know how to tell you, you're not everybody.
And here's the thing, I also played quite a bit of these games in handheld mode, and it was mostly fine, but yes, trust me, I've heard plenty of people complain about these games in handheld mode, so...
I played Xenoblade 2.
But,
I played Xenoblade 2 for like 600 hours, maybe 800, and I want to say about 400 of those were handheld. So I've done my time. I love it, but also if they can find a way to break the sub 480p and handheld curse, I will be very happy. And the game being 1080 in the trailer does have me hopeful, but also it could also just be dev footage. It could be footage for the Switch too. We really don't know. So that's kind of sad because you never really know about handheld performance until the game comes out, essentially, or until reviews are out.
I think we're gonna have a better idea of these things whenever they release a trailer that shows more gameplay. Because right now it was more exposition kind of. It was just like cutscenes and like the world. We didn't really see the new UI or else.
We haven't seen any battles.
Which is one thing that like annoys me about game trailers nowadays is just how much they refuse to show the HUDs in them.
Well, often what happens is that the first trailer is more like cutscene, and then if they do show gameplay, it's more like afterwards to kind of get the excitement going. So I get it. Like they don't want people to be disappointed right away if they don't like the system. They want people to see, oh look, you shiny.
I do feel like X is slightly different because they could have shown like Overdrive, and Overdrive would have been a really visually appealing thing to show off in the trailer.
Yeah,
but it's okay. We have 4 months to see things. Like it's honestly, I'd be fine even if we don't see anything. I'd be fine seeing nothing until release at this point. I mean, we're already gonna buy the game.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would like to have at least like a sort of gameplay trailer or whatever to see like what else will be getting improvements because like it's something that'd be nice.
Yeah, we definitely need to see how if they're gonna do anything with the online mode because
that too. I'm just like, yes, online. You know what's exciting about this re-release though is the fact that back when Xenoblade X was out, like none of us knew each other much. A lot of people were playing on their own. Like, they didn't really have much connection. When I dropped Xenoblade X, like that's when like communities started going around, but like I didn't really mesh with anyone and stuff, and I didn't really play much online. But now with the Switch release, I'm gonna want to play online with you guys.
Exactly.
Oh, you haven't seen me play video games, huh?
We
did
play
a console people like.
Yeah.
So more people play, we can actually recommend it to people and get people into the series in comparison.
Exactly.
Here's the thing, they gotta fix that online experience though, or just
honestly, seriously, it has so much potential, and I'm just like, I'm hoping they like surprise us with something with the online because they have so much potential to just make it a game that people will want to buy to just play with their friends.
Yeah.
I had this theory. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, if people want to see what the online was like before, just see our Xenoblade X farewell episode, which is kind of
now it's outdated.
It's outdated. I put so much effort into it, and Nintendo's like, nah.
It was really fun.
I saw that, and they hated it so much. They were like, "We're really re-releasing the game. Do it again."
No, I honestly, I think if you guys are interested, you should totally try and go see the VODs and like see it. Jin put a lot of work into trying to make 3 perspective work in one video. So
But yeah, you were saying, Chris.
Oh, so this is a pipe. Since we talked about what the online is, a pipe dream once, and I don't think they do this. I acknowledge that before I say this. But playing a game like Scarlet and Violet multiplayer, where you can just go in with like a group of 4 friends and you exist in the same map, just going and minding your business, or you can be together doing things.
That would be the dream.
If y'all wanted to do that for this game, and if the crackpot theory, it's more of a joke, but the crackpot theory that the Nintendo expansion pass, like playtest going on right now was like a test for Xenoblade Online, it's not. There's no way that it is. But if it wanted to be, and they were planning something like that, that would be a great way to get people into this game on a wide scale. They probably wouldn't, but I want it so bad.
Gonna expect that, but like just look how Genshin got popular at the beginning. It was because of that, because people could play on the map together. So if Xenoblade becomes that, where people can play together on the map to go kill super bosses or whatever, and like just
an MMO proper
and explore, it'd be amazing.
It wouldn't just be an MMO and like the inspirations. It would actually achieve its original dreams of being sort of an MMO, because it kind of was one thing and then swapped mid-development for online play. But with the final game, I wouldn't really say it swapped enough to online play to justify the statement itself. It always felt like it was holding back something, and didn't know what it was, and then I played the new Pokemon games, and they have issues. Don't get me wrong, but something like that in X would be amazing. Absolutely
I didn't play
amazing.
the new Pokemon game, so what do they do in the new Pokemon game?
What it
Basically,
is
you can just play together in the map.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
you
that'd
sync
be
up
cool.
with someone and you can see where they are, you can separate, you can come together and tackle like a boss.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, if they did it with Pokemon, I could see them being able to do it with this game.
It actually
I'm
was
not-
quite fun.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get my hopes up, but that would be really cool.
It would be amazing. And it would make so that when I'm burnt out, I can be like, "Hey, friends, do you want to come play with me so that I get more motivation?"
And imagine you can make an actual party with the people playing with you as well.
The only thing that I feel where it could be a double-edged sword, though, especially if you do story stuff with friends, is the affinity. Because there's a lot of characters, and you need to raise their affinity to see their story, and some are time-based, where, like, you can only see them before X amount of events or whatever. So, like, honestly, it was a thing that was really pissing that was another thing that was pissing me off in this game. It made so I was burning out because I had all this grind, right? But where were my story cookies? My story cookies were also more grinding because the affinity was like going up so slowly and like I was just like I want to see the bits with the characters. I like the world, but please show me a bit of the characters. Stop making me grind so hard for it.
I think X is an. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just hope they'll make it easier to grind the affinity hearts and stuff, so that it's easier to see like those story bits because like it was like the most painful thing for me because I need to mix it up a bit. I can do a lot of grinding if I have bits of story in between. Just I need some cookies sometimes. Like, oh, you work so hard. Here you go, a little cookie of story. It's just. But if it's just grinding, I'll burn out.
I think they've learned from the past 2 games in a way that hopefully they would adjust that.
Yeah,
because it's been nowhere near as annoying to access side content in the 2 games. Well, hang on, Ursula does exist, but Ursula aside, it's been nowhere near as hard to complete side content or even just access it.
Even like, didn't they modify the Xenoblade 1 DE? Didn't they modify the affinity there to be a bit easier too? I think.
Did they?
I can't remember. Was it a bit easier?
I haven't finished. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't finished Definitive Edition or done actual content.
It's just the first versions. I remember I like it's funny because Xenoblade 1 I had a very similar thing going on where like I kept being distracted too much and like was never finishing the game until D. Because D was marking things better on the map and I could stay more focused. But yeah, it's a big problem with me is that when there's too many shinies, my brain goes places. I'm like, oh look, shiny, 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 and then I just like story on the other side is just like, hello.
Yeah. So kind of going with that, and I guess we're kind of going into like quality of life things that we're hoping for. So with your squad members, like make it easy to find them and put them in your party.
Oh yes,
like
that too.
please, I'm begging you.
Look at guides to try and see like where people were at like what time, and sometimes it was not even right, and I was so mad because I was just like, I just want to find this one character because I know I need to raise affinity with him, and I was just like trying to find them and I could not, and I was like, where are they?
Yep.
Even just make it a menu. I don't think we need it to be as immersive. Just menu. Have the option to go talk to them, but if you talk to them once, let you do the rest of the menu.
Exactly.
Yeah, can I just call them?
Like,
exactly. It's a sci-fi setting. Call them, text them. Oh my gosh, please.
We can respawn places. You're telling me they can't just appear because I selected them in a menu?
Yeah, honestly, it could be nice because it's not even that immersive breaking, because technically they have the technology. They could just you could just give them a call and be like, "Hey, do you want to join me for a mission?" "Oh yeah, sure, I'll be there in 5." You know, just
they could even show their skull flying in or something if they want it to be immersive.
But like honestly, select one of them and you can see where they are on the map if there's a quest or whatever with them, whatever. Because some of them sometimes will have like a quest available, but it won't necessarily show on the map until you're close to it. So it'd be nice to just see it better. But at the same time, I feel like quest markers, they've gotten a lot better with it. So I'm confident that whenever there's a quest, it's gonna actually show well on the map where you'll be like, "Oh look, there's a shiny there," instead of like, "Oh look, I just got there like 10 meters away and just shows now, but it wasn't before."
Future Redeem's map gives me a lot of hope for what they have as a standard for maps nowadays. So I think
honestly,
we'll luck out.
it was a lot better with a lot of things, but they still have issues with like, you know, map leveling whenever there's multiple level, but at least in terms of details, it's still like it's getting a lot better.
What's sad is 3 doesn't even have anywhere near the amount of levels, so depth is probably still going to be a pretty big problem in this game, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, still gonna get lost in depths.
Do you think they're gonna keep the like gem system the same?
They kept it the same in Definitive Edition for 1, so I honestly don't think they'll touch anything with that.
I don't think so either.
I think honestly all the battle stuff is going to stay pretty near identical in terms of like gear, balancing and such. I think they'll make it more accessible to learn the system, but I don't think they're going to change the systems themselves based on what we got for 1. Because one thing a lot of people wanted with Definitive Edition was changing the arts palette, and they absolutely kept that exactly the same. And I think it's going to be exactly the same here too, which I'm fine with. I liked it in X. I think the tertiary charges helped a lot.
Yeah, I like the arts palette a lot. It was just like, I know for like the gems in particular, because like, okay, so in Xenoblade Definitive Edition, they went up to level 5. They go up to level 20 in Cross.
Yep.
So it's like,
get ready to grind.
Yeah.
This really was just grind the game.
It really is. When they said, "Hey, it's an open world for you to spend 400 hours in," they didn't tell you that a lot of those hours are grinding. We're sorry.
And they also didn't tell you that a lot of the cool stuff you're not even going to get till like either end game or post game.
Yeah.
Which on that, I think one thing I think they could do, I could see them lowering the bar of entry for certain things, like moving some side quests that don't necessarily involve like later species, later mechanics or anything. I think a lot of those will get moved closer to the start, because it's very end heavy, or it's mid to end heavy, but you really don't have a lot of side stuff to do in the beginning that isn't just gather materials. And if you don't do side content, you can struggle as early as the first boss with that one blue girl, I forget her name, who you fight in Noctilum.
When I did my new game, I was like, damn, she's hard. I don't remember her name, but I know which blue girl you're talking about.
Yeah.
What'd you say,
when you meet Elle?
No, well, Elle isn't a blue girl. Elle is a blue boy.
No, when you meet Elle.
Oh. Goetia.
I mean, Elle could be a blue girl if they want. Goetia, that's right.
Goetia, okay.
But yeah, I remember when I did my new game, because I was trying to like start anew and like more with better planning. Like I got to her, I was like, damn, I need to grind again because like she's like killing me so easily. So yeah, I get that. Like it's very easy to get like destroyed in this game.
Which is funny because the game wants you to do side content, but at the same time, it really promotes you going, "Ooh, that's pretty," and running in that direction nonstop to the point you can get distracted from side quests. Because unlike the other games, honestly, exploration doesn't give you as much experience as side quests do.
But
it gives you a good amount, but nowhere near as much as the other games.
But it's also the fact, like I was explaining earlier, like the quests are not very well marked either. Like it's just they just appear when you're close to them. So for me, like someone who's like you said, oh, we get distracted from even the side quests. It's so easy to get distracted from the side quests because unless you walk around the city or places where you think there might be side quests multiple times, they might not necessarily show on your map at all, and then you just don't know they exist.
I do wonder if render distance will play a part in that at all, because part of the reason that they aren't as easy to find is the NPCs sometimes literally have to load in. I wonder if that
also,
render distance was
I do hope
expanded.
that on the map itself,
no, that's what I mean.
Quests will be like better, like as in like not like when you're walking around or whatever, but like I mean like when you're looking at the full map, like I hope that you're gonna have like maybe a slider or something to see like, oh, interesting events or whatever that could be in places, to have an idea of like, oh, maybe there's something in that direction, I'll go there. Because like honestly, I have so much trouble with games that aren't like, especially an open world game like that, if it's not clear about certain things, I'll just get distracted forever just going after all the shinies and I'll never complete anything.
Yeah, no, we're on the same page. That's basically what I was trying to say. I think both of those things will help accomplish making it easier. Because right now, as is, you just do not get that information in game.
You don't.
If you are not walking around, if you're not 5 feet from someone, sometimes you won't see their quest thing.
Exactly.
If you are not in that same continent, it won't show you the quest thing. And I think both editing the map a little bit as well as just increasing that render distance, I think will do so much for just making it so you can actually know what content is there. Because as much as I loved it and as much as I tried to play naturally, when I looked at guides, I had missed over half of the content. Like, I just wasn't catching on to it on my first run because playing naturally, it doesn't always appear for you, unfortunately.
You know what is also hard to see? The UI.
Yep. I'm scared for handheld mode.
Yeah, the UI, like, I do hope it's gonna be better because even like the text of the characters that you have to read, like everything is so small. Like I do hope that things will be better. Like I hope they keep their styles because their styles was very nice, but boost it up a little bit because it's all too small.
The subtitles are larger in the trailer, to be fair.
But
they are a slightly different font, so I don't think that was actually in the game. I think that was post-editing, to be honest.
That was post-editing, most likely, but also, like, I mean, like, you know when you're talking to generic NPC on the map, like the text bubbles? Like, the text in those bubbles is so small.
Yeah, and then when you're, like, using the gamepad, I would have to, like, bring the gamepad, like, closer to my face. Like, what does that say? What are you saying?
Yep, it's how you feel old faster.
Honestly, I've even played it on a big TV and still small. I couldn't read it on a TV.
I don't have a big TV. I have a 42 inches, and like
I consider that big. That's the size I'm talking about.
But yeah, before that, you know when I was playing Xenoblade X on back in the day, I did not even have an HDTV. It was like an old like 4:3 TV. I don't know how I did it. Back in the day when it came out at first, I was like playing on an old TV.
Well, kind of related, but better audio balancing, because I remember there's some cutscenes where the music gets like super loud and I can't hear what everyone's saying.
And you can't read it either.
I made a whole meme with me and my partner where every time we're watching something we can't hear, we just go, huh? What's that? Xenoblade X is the birth of that. And I kind of don't want it to be aggressively fixed, mostly for the joke, but in terms of like actual accessibility, I would like to be able to hear what people are saying, because hearing number EX01 blasting while a boss is telling me like her plans to destroy something, and I'm just like, what are you saying? Because I can't read the subtitles either.
What? That's funny.
Yeah,
but
you know what? Keep everything the same, but add a button where whenever I press it, my character yells, "What?"
God, I'd be fine with that, like Splatoon emote style.
Nothing changes.
Like MC just like tending the ear and like be like, "What'd you say?"
Well, there are emotes in that game. We just need to add an emote of them like putting a hand to their ear.
Yeah, we add the emote of "I can't hear."
Random idea. They should give us the ability to emote during the non-animated cutscenes where you're just standing there. It would be very
yes.
Oh my gosh, that would be so fun.
That would be so fun, but at the same time, without the second screen, might be hard.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe had like a.
They give you like a quick wheel.
Yeah, like a quick
you
wheel.
It's like a D-pad button. What does the D-pad even do in X? Honestly,
I guess we'll find out what the D-pad does in X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is going to be debatable, but scale insurance
was perfect.
Make it more expensive. Make it less available, and make you go to jail if you drive your Skell without having insurance.
And also, if you could make it so, like, depending on what insurance you have, like, if you destroy your Skell in a certain way, your insurance goes, I'm not covering that.
We should have, like, Geico and then, like, base level state insurance.
I want you to be able to crash your Skell into NPC Skells, and then you have to trade insurance information.
Oh my god.
What if there's a Skell racing sub mode, which is why insurance is so much more expensive now, because it's a sport they want to profit off the anyways.
Yes, make it worse. Please make it worse.
Make it so much worse.
Make it better, please.
I agree, make it better.
Please do make it better. Jokes aside, it does need to be better. I actually got walled with the final boss because of Skell insurance.
Just remove it entirely. We don't need it.
No, okay. I can't stress how much I loved Skell insurance conceptually. Just that, like, we are struggling to survive, and we need to rebuild society, and also, you know what we gotta bring back? Fucking insurance.
Like, here's an alternative. Instead of just insurance, give us the ability to get materials to rebuild our Skell or something, so the system can still be there, but it's not the end of the world. Because
I like that.
I would like that a lot better.
I want to get charged every time I die.
Or like,
I want meme insurance.
Give us both options. If someone is rich and want to pay money and not do the effort, sure. But if someone is not rich and still want to repair their Skell, they can still go grab items. How about that?
Or we can duct tape it together, like how people do with their bumpers in real life.
Duct tape and hot glue, like cosplayers, just like putting it together.
Like 50% more damage.
You like one hit, everything falls.
You go in Cauldros and it immediately melts apart.
It explodes.
Anyway, Skell insurance is good. Keep it. Do not cut it. I don't think they'll cut it, but I really need them to not cut it. They need to keep it in as a base system. But there can definitely be some tuning in terms of accessibility of the insurance.
Fine. I can't believe y'all didn't just figure out how to exit your Skell when it was exploding. Or you just go, oh, no, I'm out, bye.
The issue is also, like, the NPCs being dumb and, like, exploding the other
That's my thing. Elma, get out of your damn Skell. What do you mean you have
know what the game needs to do?
Solo?
Here it is. This is how you make Skell insurance worse. You make the game autosave every time your Skell gets destroyed.
No, Justin, don't give them ideas.
Yeah,
I want to save
every time your members destroy you see the spinning circle.
No.
Like,
no,
God damn it!
Please, no.
Actually,
I want to save
related. Do y'all think we're gonna get multiple save slots in this finally?
No.
I don't think so, because Xenoblade do not get multiple save slot.
We got it in the first one.
Yeah, true. The first one did have it, but yeah, three did have it. True.
Definitive Edition, not Definitive. Wow. Future Redeemed, I don't think had multiple saves though, or it doesn't have New Game Plus, one or the other. I can't remember which.
I'd have to boot the game up. I can't remember.
You want me to move? That's not happening.
Yeah, I ain't touching my Switch for that.
But yeah, because I know that when you would do the online, it would save after, like, every time you would do like a mission online, and then otherwise you'd have to. Otherwise you have to manually save.
But also, like, as you were disconnecting, was saving the progress you had done.
Right. So I don't know if that is why they did one save. I don't.
But I mean, it's more controversial than Skell insurance, though.
How
do you think they're going to handle soul voices?
I thought those was fine. I didn't know those were controversial.
I thought you were going to talk about something else.
I also thought you were going to talk about something else.
What did you think I was going to talk about?
Titties.
I mean, those we already know aren't going to be as in. We're not getting a slider for that since it's based on the Western side of the game, which is also actually controversial, apparently.
What if I want to make them smaller?
You can't even make them bigger. A lot of people that I see more so want to be able to like represent themselves, and if they can't have them at all larger than the default, they're just like, well, I guess I don't get to look like me.
True.
Yeah, I feel like
soul voices. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go on.
I was gonna say soul voices mostly are a controversial thing because this game, especially compared to 3, which has offensive healers, it's your only method of healing.
Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah.
Specific class. So it's a system that's tucked away with all of its stuff being in the manuals that you have to read. You have to customize the system. And the worst part, it's on a screen with really tiny fonts. So you're having to go through a bunch of different options of really tiny fonts.
I did the work. A lot of us did the work, but I can see that really going against a lot of people if they don't rework some of that system. Like,
if I see
either
too
make
much
it more
text
accessible to
without
use it.
images, I just close it.
Exactly. I don't think that helps at all. Even just like little images on the side where like shows the character doing the action of the soul voice, something to make that screen less just here's a spreadsheet. Figure out how you want the spreadsheet to be set up. Because not everyone's a min-maxer, and Xenoblade 3 is the most min-maxing game. So
I think I would be more
min
min-maxing if it was clearer, because that's the thing is that
yes.
if you throw a bunch of text at me, it's just gonna go over my head. I need actual videos or like images or something. Like, you know, like how some games have built-in like tutorials with little like clips. This is the
Monster
best.
Hunter.
This is the best because then I can just look at it and be like, oh, so that's what you mean. Because if you just give me the description, I'm gonna read at it, I'll try to imagine it, but then I'll be like, I don't know what I'm trying to picture. But then you show me the picture, I'm like, oh, so that's what you mean. Oh yeah, that's cool. I want that. You know, it's just but if you don't show me, I'm just looking at it like I don't know if I want that. It doesn't seem that great. You know, just it's kind of like harder. Like any I know like a lot of people are very I know when I did stream this game, like a lot of people would sometimes come in and like try to tell me how to play and I was like, please. But I understand like a lot of people are very like extreme with the system, but like I don't understand the more like nuanced thing because it's not clear to me. So even if someone tries to explain to me, if I don't see it, I don't understand. So
I've always kind of compared it to this, but I think since we're talking tutorials, Monster Hunter is a great series they can take inspiration from with how they build in like tutorials to their systems and stuff. Where on the side of everything you're doing, there's like a little video showing off said action.
Even make a tutorial area where we can try these things.
No, like, even that, because there's 14 classes. And there's probably going to be more classes. Just being frank, we're probably going to get a class or two in this. I don't think we're going to get more. I don't think it's going to be a massive expansion. But if anything, I think will be changed with the combat system. I could see them adding a class or two, or expanding the way you can approach those classes. And if they're going to do that, they need to make it more accessible. Because as is, even the manuals, honestly, they didn't do shit. It's got the information, but it's not digestible is the problem. And that's kind of X as a whole in terms of its systems. You can access it, but it's very hard to digest and fully understand the system if you are not going to the internet.
Yeah. But that's why I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if they did like a sort of tutorial area where you could like mesh a couple of things without having them unlocked, just to try them?
Put it in the
like,
barracks.
oh yeah, I would love to have this. I would love to have this option onto my character. You know, like it'd be nice.
They can literally just throw it in the barracks where the time attacks are. It would be the perfect spot for it. Have some tutorial missions or something.
Yeah, like try out some classes, some skills that you don't have or whatever to see like the feel of it and see if you like it, if you want it, you know, and maybe train yourself to use overdrive more than 3 seconds, because I've never seen overdrive last more than like a couple seconds, honestly, because I don't know how it works.
Oh, yeah, which is wild considering people do infinite overdrive. Yeah. So the people get no tutorial in the game and they look online and they see them do it for like minutes. I remember 2015 me. I was like, what the fuck are they doing? Are they cheating? Like, how do you do that?
I think it's just
I was gonna say like like people used to do what they called the Jedi builds.
Yep.
And then like you would try to do that because you look at like their builds and then you try to figure out, all right, how the hell do I do this? And then you're just sent down this long line of just quests and stuff. It's like, all right, so you need to upgrade this skill. All right, so to upgrade this skill, I need to get this item. Okay, I can't get this item because I didn't do this thing. Okay, I can't do this thing because I didn't do this affinity quest. Okay, I can't do this affinity quest because I didn't do this affinity quest. Nope, I can't do that affinity quest because I didn't get this shop to a certain level.
This
so
game
it
sounds like a pain in the ass.
Yeah. And without spoiling, there is a certain person's affinity quest, cough, cough, that are timed. So if you miss any of that content, I mean, congratulations.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. And that's why I'm like, I think affinity with characters should be much easier than what it is, because a lot of them are timed.
I think they should force the quest, and I think the quest should be what levels them up, similar to how the Affinity and Blade missions worked in like 2 and 3, compared to building up the heart beforehand and then going. Build up something, go and do the actual content. And that's also something I said for a while. Make the optional content, make a lot more of that required. Fill in that fluff, because we don't get to connect with the characters unless you're doing all the side content. Make more of those required instead of just, hey, get affinity up. Hey, get your level up to this rank. Get this area up to this percentage. Add more things that are more engaging, and I think that you will see a lot more people connect to this, because a lot of people crit path because it's a game where it feels like you're kind of you have open world, but the amount of people I've talked to who crit path this game and felt disappointed tells me there is just something about this game that makes people feel the need to, outside of even just, oh, I played Xenoblade 1 and you can just go and do what you need and be done and have a satisfying experience. And I feel like it solves all of the problems we're mentioning right now. Make more of that content somewhat required. It would let us go do things on the side.
I was the type that was exploring everything and poking everything, but the thing is, there was so much content that was, like you said, like just locked between some requirements that were so much further that I was just like, okay, well, I guess I'll come back later. And then sometimes I just forget they exist because it also doesn't really point the things that you can't do unless you go close. so yeah, it's just I just wish, like, I just think like there's a lot of things like that should be more accessible, like you're saying. Like it would make everything so much better.
And if they force them to be done, it also cuts back the requirements for them. Because so many of them, you have to reach those high requirements, and you're probably not going to unless you're actually 100% in the game for a lot of these characters.
Yeah, which is a lot. Because for me, like, it's just, like I said earlier, like, I need a bit of the story cookies. I love, like, seeing characters' interactions, like, getting to know new characters and stuff. So for me, like, having these huge requirements was, like, so unmotivating, because I was just like, okay, so I need to have them at affinity XYZ whatever, but then the game also wants you to always have Elma and Lynn in the story, so it's kind of counterproductive.
Yeah, that was one of the big things that bothered me. It was like most of these, in order to get farther, you have to have Elma or Lynn, but it's like, but what about everybody else?
You gave me a million friends.
Yeah, you gave us so many characters. There's so many playable characters. And
that's
yet,
why in my new game I was trying
to hear, because I never hear anyone talk about anyone other than Elma.
That's because only the real fans play the game. None of us can finish the game to get there.
But HB.
Yeah, but none of us finished the game to get there. No, but something that 3 does that I think solves all these issues that they would not do, but if they're going forward with X content, I could see them doing it. The party size increased in 3 drastically, and I think that would help with grinding that affinity. If you're going to have 3 out of 4 slots be occupied by required members, expanding the slots is a way to do that. I don't see them doing that because the game already kind of struggled in battle sometimes with 4 people. But going forward in the series, if X does get continuations, I think that would be a nice way to solve that problem while still being able to have a massive cast of optional characters and still being able to connect with them.
It would be kind of cool if they take like the Torna approach, like maybe each slot can have 2 people, and you can like
they could be tandem skill pilots.
Maybe have some people that gives a skill to the person, but the person is not. The second person might not be on field, but it might give a support skill, but they can get also affinity kind of thing. That could be cool.
Actually, do we even have, and if we have to spoil, don't answer, but do we even have tandem skills in X on Mira as is, or were they only a thing on Earth in the battles and such? I don't think we do.
I don't think so.
Because that would be a way to work in that gameplay if they did make a sequel.
Yeah. Now, speaking of characters, I mean, the cast is already freaking huge, but if they added Gajiarg and Gabweed as playable characters, I wouldn't be mad.
These were the cat people. Right?
The cat people.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because it's been a while.
It's the Rothians.
Yeah, I wanted more of playable. I wanted more of like the other species playable.
Yeah,
I think
would
that
have
was
been cool.
a huge missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Also, why do we cross out the one about character customization?
Oh yeah, that could be cool.
On character customization, the English version has less voices actually. So if they did want to expand anything, making the rest of the voices with more character interactions Probably would be really hard because they'd have to get the VAs together, but like that would be a really cool addition because all the voices are not just voices, they're personalities.
Yes.
So it would also be like 3 or so more characters that you could make with those personalities.
Yes, and like on that, they also should make the what was it called? It was like the something vols or something, where you can basically customize how your character talks in battle, and that gave you different buffs.
Oh, the soul voices? Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, that's another thing, yeah. Like, that's another thing I did not fully understand, and I was just trying to look at the menu and not be overwhelmed.
Yeah, we already talked about that.
Oh, okay, so I must have missed that, sorry.
Yeah, we also talked about the titty slider.
What? I must have just zoned out while you guys...
Yeah, apparently, jeez.
Oh. On the topic of added characters, though, do you think they're gonna add a Nopon character to this game finally? Because it's still the only one that doesn't have one.
Just
make the answer is Tatsu. Make it Coco. Make it Mama Coco.
Make it Mama Coco. Then I'm on board.
I'd be okay with playable Tatsu.
He will not be in my party.
Wait,
if he's a playable party member, that means we can remove him from our party, which means he may not show up on screen at all.
You could support on the side. He's already following Lynn everywhere.
But if he's playable, maybe he won't be following us, so we can get rid of him.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Make him go away.
No, I think he's cute. I don't think
he's bad.
Well, he can be on your screen and get him off of mine.
Controversial opinion. I think a lot of the hate should be redirected to Lynn because she does it.
Yeah, she does. But Lynn does other things, whereas all Tatsu has is the
correct. Correct.
What, Justin?
I was gonna say I don't hate Tatsu. It's just that the game loves to just lean on this one recurring joke with Tatsu, and they go out of their way to make him
annoying, but
way
I'm
more
not gonna
annoying
hate
than he needs
Tatsu
to
for
be.
it. It's not his fault. He's just a victim.
Well, yeah, there's so many times you can do the joke of wanting to eat Tatsu.
The last definitive edition greatly fleshed out a certain Nopon. We could get the story content mostly focusing on expanding Tatsu, unfortunately. I really don't want that. Don't let him get the Ricky treatment, please.
Tatsu actually adopts a bunch of kids.
Plot twist, he already has a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
They specifically say he don't, though. They covered that in the game.
He's like
I didn't finish the game.
Yeah, he's like a teenager.
The game didn't let me finish.
Yeah, they said he's like basically a teenager because like they do make a joke like, "Oh, Tatsu, do you actually have a huge family? Are you really a father of like 50?" And he's like, "I'm a teenager."
That's actually not super late.
Tatsu ends up becoming a good dad.
Tatsu is just Ricky. He gets replaced by Ricky.
They just remove him entirely.
Portal opens up and Ricky just comes in.
Something I really want. I want them to bring back the Nopon time attack from Xenoblade 2, but add the Nopon from Xenoblade 3 as well. But they can have just like Riku could be the final boss for fun spoiler-y reasons. Because unfortunately, it kind of makes sense that he could be here on Mira. But we'll leave that for another discussion.
Did we cover that Tatsu better shut the fuck up every time I use fast travel? Because Tatsu better shut the fuck up.
That part was annoying, though. Yeah.
Like every time you use fast travel, like, why are you using fast travel? Because shut the fuck up, Tatsu.
Because I can.
I got shit to do today.
Because I can.
Why would the game implement a fast travel feature and then have an NPC chastise you for using it?
I don't know why it would do that. I just know that it did.
That's so bizarre, even for Nintendo.
Make him playable so we can remove him from the party and leave him in New LA.
Then he's just going to be a required party member for everything. And be like, God fucking damn it.
At least he'd have a purpose for being around. He's just comic relief as is, which is really sad. I tried
comic
to
relief
like him.
that bitches at you every time you use fast travel.
It's like, you know what he reminds me of? This is another Pokemon reference, and I'm so sorry, but in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, you have a little Rotom on your bottom screen at all times, and in the base game, it's fine. But in the second games, they made it so you have to interact with him, and you have to like use his lottery feature, and if you don't, he frowns at you until you interact with him. He just frowns the entire game if you don't want to use a feature that actively makes you overpowered. That reminds me of Tatsu wanting to talk every time you're fast traveling, just living there the entire time, existing. I'm just like, please go away. I don't want you here. You're actively intruding on my experience. Please go away. But also make him playable because he probably would be fun in combat. I've liked every single Nopon we've been able to play as.
Nopons are
combat
fun.
Mechanics.
They're so cute. I love them.
I mean, I like the idea of a Nopon potentially piloting a Skell, but then we'd all get mad when Tatsu loses your Skell insurance.
Are you sure?
It would probably be a Nopon Skell too.
That'd be cute.
They would probably have to integrate controls that works for them because like they're so tiny.
Maybe Nopon need their own insurance.
Pilot a giant potato.
Yeah, if you try to insure Tatsu, your insurance goes up because no.
God.
Also, if you have a red Skell, that also makes your insurance go up.
The Ares 90 is automatically more expensive.
Yes.
Oh, I love the Ares 90.
Actually, that's an interesting thing I saw someone comment on as well. I think on Reddit. I don't remember. But they honestly could expand the level cap finally because it's only at 60 in this game.
Right.
Yeah, let me be overpowered so I can not deal with so many of the bullshit systems and still finish the fucking game.
Yeah, I would love it if they just bumped it up to 100 or whatever. Just
again, MMOs do that too to make another MMO comparison. That's just another thing they can do is expanding it as they add more content.
Mm-hmm. That would be nice because there are like several enemies that are above level 60, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are enemies over 100 too, technically, aren't there? Like not by a lot, but they go up to like 120 if I remember correctly for some of the super bosses.
Yeah, I could never.
No.
Oh, I've never done. I couldn't even beat the final boss, but
I could.
Which will give me another chance.
Yeah.
True. Well, this isn't exactly quality of life, but if we got some amiibos or even an Elma statue, that would be pretty great.
If you release an Elma statue, please release it post-con season because I have too much things before that. Falcom is ruining me, okay?
I need them to wait like a year after the launch to release any Elma figures because I've waited since 2015 for an Elma figure. So I will buy it, but I'd also like a year to finally save money for the first time in my life. Like, please don't make me have to buy this thing now.
Or just do an Elma amiibo for now.
Yes,
for now.
I would take an amiibo.
Which, by the way, the Shulk amiibo is back up on VGP for anybody who needs him.
That's cool.
Now what?
I didn't even know VGP had amiibos. That I should look at them more often.
Theoretically, if we did get an Elma amiibo, what kind of feature do you think she would bring to the game?
She brings us the key that we lost, and we finally get answers to all of our questions. Locked behind a $13 amiibo.
Locked behind a $13
DLC amiibo that could become a $100 amiibo later.
It's like, damn it, sure, I'll do it, but I'm mad about it.
It would kind of fit. It would kind of fit, unfortunately.
I don't know what any amiibo does other than sit on my shelf and look nice, so
I guess
they give weapons most times or accessories.
Like the Zelda amiibos that give like specific items, I would be okay with that.
Oh, you know,
Xenoblade 3 it was giving looks of the old
Xenoblade.
The
old Xenoblade ones were the DLC ones, but it gave like N&M, it gave Shulk's Monado, it gave the Aegis swords. So I could see
it was basically giving like some shiny looking things, but not like it's not something you needed to progress the game.
Exactly.
Go on.
I was gonna say it would be kind of cool if like for definitive edition, I was gonna say it'd be kind of cool if like the amiibos would give you the unique monster theme from the games they're from. Like if you use the Noah and Mio amiibo, you get the unique monster theme from 3. Or if you Shulk, you get You Will Know Our Names. Or if you use Pyramithra, you get.
Was that a thing in? Was that a thing in 2? No, it's spoiler characters add the music is what I'm thinking of. Never mind, they don't add the unique monster.
I mean, I think if you had like Elma's blade in your party in Xenoblade 2, it would play the.
It did in 2. Oh, if you had Shulk and I'm so sorry. What is
Fiora?
Fiora. If you had her, either of them in your party, you also had the option to have their music as well.
Yeah.
That could be time attack stuff because all of that was somewhat connected to challenge mode. So I mean, that's more stuff to add, because I think a lot of the new content will be shoved into that mode, because now we're on a system where they can really flesh out that online and market to more people with the online. So that would also be
imagine
stuff
they
that they
did
could
more
lock
time
some
attacks
stuff
with the
behind that.
online stuff, like more missions that are. Like,
100%.
It would be
I
nice.
think they did it in both 2's DLC, Definitive Edition got time attack content, and then Xenoblade 3's DLC also got it. I think they absolutely love doing that, especially in their re-releases.
Okay, I would love that. Well.
Xenoblade X.
Yes.
And
unfortunately, we our big Xenoblade X fan, Nick, was unable to be on the episode today, but he has his own thoughts. Nick, take it away.
Hello, dearest listeners of the XenoChat podcast, whom we love dearly. I, Nick, have been locked away once again by my fellow members of the podcast. This time with the quote that my hype levels for this game were too great, too extraneous to be a part of this podcast on this day. And thus, I come to you with an reduced version of my thoughts and hopes for this game. At the risk of sounding like an echo chamber, I've compiled a short list, a top 10, if you will, of the things I hope for from Xenoblade X DE. That said, I would take this game again in any form. Just the fact that it is getting another release to a new system, to a new group of people, that is all I would have asked for. But if you must know, there are ways in which this game can be improved for the general player, for the new players, and here's what I've put together for you. I have a short time to say this, so I will run through these as quickly and try to sum up my thoughts as best as possible. No guarantees. I am not good at keeping things brief. But with little to do, let us begin. These are also in no particular order, I might mention. And I might also need to lower the volume of this music a bit, it gets loud in places. Alright, number 10. Expanded online experience and more methods for farming drive tickets in offline modes. Or, I would also take the ability to play portions of the online solo offline. Actually, no, make that all of the online. It would be nice to play that solo offline, just in the chance that there is little other way to farm drive tickets otherwise. I do think there should be a trade-off for farming tickets offline, because a lot of times drive tickets are meant to be something that is a more scarce resource that goes towards the more sought after items in the game. But I think that things could be a bit easier, or rather more attainable, in the case of, the necessity to play offline. Number 9. Tutorials and or resources to help new players understand how each class and the stats work. Something as simple as what the Souls games do, where you can go into a portion of or where you can hit a button in the menu maybe, and get just a description of what each stat is. Especially in a world with less focus on manuals these days, this would be a great addition to this game. Number 8. More customization options for character creation. I would at least... I don't think this is ultimately a necessity, but I think it would be quite nice to have a little bit more in the character customization. I think it is great as is in many ways. However, there are certain things to it that I recall, like the inability to put any hairstyle to any face, or things such as that. Even just that, I would just take that, honestly. That would be great. But more body types would be nice. Just various things. I'm very into good character creation suites, and this game was a good start. As long as they keep the color customization as good as it was, I will take it, but that is just something I should mention. Number 7. More variety in what you farm, especially for augments. I did find that in the original game, some parts, when farming parts for increasing your augments, were a little bit... It got a little bit bland. You ran into running into the same enemies over and over again. I think the way that this was done in Xenoblade 3, where there was a little more variety to this, would be a bit better. Maybe something a little different than that even, but it's a good start at least. So, number 6. I think that some of the collection quests especially, but some of the quests in general could lose more clarity. There were times where I would take a long break from doing one quest to take on another quest, and I would completely forget what I was doing on the previous quest and thus get very lost. And I think that there could be not something... I don't want waypoints. I don't want markers for that. Nothing unless, you set them yourself. But something to lead you a little bit more in case you forgot what you were doing on a quest would be nice. I think there could also be, on a similar note, more modern map marking features that have been featured in more recent games, as well as a little bit more explanation on the probe management minigame, just the system in general. That gameplay mechanic was great. I think it could be fleshed out a bit more in some ways, but I mainly think that it could be explained a bit better in some ways. Alright, so number 5, this one I just have the camera. The indoor camera especially feels quite strange. I don't totally dislike it. However, I do feel that it could benefit from some refinements or just making it closer to what the regular camera is. I also feel that at this point in time, can we just bump the speed of that camera up? It would be quite nice. So, number 4. If there's one grind I do think could be lessened a bit, I think it's affinity in this game. I think the affinity is... I understand what it was going for, but there are so many times in the main story that you are required to use Lyn and Elma, and that's... I feel like it should at least be encouraged to use the other members more, or just lessen the affinity in some ways, because that grind is a little bit crazy at times, especially once you've done a lot of the other quests in the game. It really slows down with as many side characters as there are. So, number 3, I have just overall better quality of life. This actually might be this may be actually even my number 2. Even though these are in no particular order, as I have mentioned. So, text sizes and menus, possibly colorblindness options would be nice in some ways, although as a colorblind person, I didn't have any particular issues. However, there are different kinds of colorblindness. Mine, it just did not affect mine. The ability to recruit party members from a menu rather than seeking them out all the time would be quite nice. I think that would be great. On top of the map options I've already listed, scale insurance tweaks I think should be a thing in some way. Whether the prompt is a prompt for saving your scales a bit easier to notice, maybe lowering the amount scales cost. I'm over time already, so I'll just go on to number 2. I think we may need to even out a few of the difficulty spikes to make the pace a bit smoother in the story mode. I think that they did a decent job of it in many ways, only assuming that someone is going to be doing a lot of the side quests. Mainly, I think they should be pushing those side quests forward more so than even smoothing out these spikes. But for some people, they're going to want to tackle things in a bit of a different order, and for them, I think some of the jumps are a little bit vast, to say the least. My number 1 for this game is I just want more people to buy in and enjoy this game. I love this game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I am containing my excitement that it is even getting a re-release, and I just want everyone to get it. to give it the fair chance it deserves, to understand it, to enjoy it. And that is all I can ask for. And with that, I am probably at least 2 or 3 minutes over time, so I'm going to end it here. Thank you all again for listening, and good night.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Well, Nick, I completely agree or disagree.
How dare you say that about that?
How dare you say
Nick,
that?
that was awesome.
Nick, that is so controversial and yet so brave.
Yes, they should add more gay stuff in with Yelv. Absolutely. Thank you.
I agree. They should add more gay stuff with Fog and Yelv.
Oh man, I feel like people are gonna be mad about Mia and her 2 dads nowadays. I don't know.
It will get talked about.
So impossible to like getting Mia in your party is such a.
Oh,
I
Yeah, that was
haven't gotten
post-game.
Mia in my party. She is that obnoxious to get in your party.
That was like one of the last few things I did in that game was
I don't think I
unlock
managed
her.
to get her in my party either.
It was post game that I got her.
Y'all-
'Cause
Yeah.
Okay, well,
ridiculous.
I never finished the game, so there you go.
Oh, that's
Y'all, we're
There's
gonna
your
have to deal with
problem.
Laura and Nara in 2023. We're gonna have commentary.
Oh
on
god, that's
Laura
right.
and
We
Nara
are
in
gonna have them.
Oh, sorry, 2025. I forgot how time works.
Oh,
2025.
That's gonna be
Yeah.
so annoying.
What is
Yeah.
time? I don't know what time
Oof.
is.
Anyway, Nick,
Well,
the point is we agree with you. Or don't.
Yes.
we agree and disagree.
I feel nothing about that comment right there.
B, you haven't said a lot. Would you like to say words about things?
Beautiful.
Like game things? Sure. I'm just looking forward to an actual chance to play the game all through its entirety.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm one of the rare ones who my first game was X by myself. I got confused. It was overwhelming. I cruised through most of it until I hit the roadblock, and then I had to grind, and then I'm like, screw this, I'm done. But overall, I was like well over 200 hours into the game. I'm just looking forward to playing it in its entirety. Like that's it. You were all complaining about the the user interface and all these other things. I don't know enough of the game to be able to comment on that.
I mean, if you were
Played
200
the
hours
game, you saw
in,
the user interface.
I mean, yeah, I saw it, but
didn't bother you.
me.
You mentally blocked it out to enjoy the game.
Sure, I don't remember much of the game. One thing that I really did enjoy the game, is the music.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Sawano is peak. Sawano
Do you
is
think they'll
peak.
get him back to do any more tracks, or?
Who knows? Maybe.
Mm.
I mean,
I
he is the
think it depends on
composer
the
of this game, and also, I think I did see. I don't know. I couldn't like source where I saw that, but I think I saw an article or something that mentioned how Sawano said something about this game is really what set up his style or something.
I know exactly what you're talking about. He has
Yeah,
a very
I saw
fond
something
spot
pass
for
by,
X
but I don't
specifically.
remember where it was.
I
was like,
could
"That's
not find that for you,
interesting."
but I know the exact article you're talking about.
Yeah, I was
He
like, that's
loves this game.
interesting, honestly, because like
Mhm.
Sawano was already like kind of established for me, like in terms
Yep.
of style. Like it was very easy to recognize him, and whenever I saw like that very first trailer and heard the drums and everything, I was like, hmm?
Team X
And,
has
and then
that
and then
effect.
I saw the name. I was like, "Hold up, Sawano on this game. Let's go!" I was so excited.
It's a very magical soundtrack, and I would love if he does come back for any of the new content. But I
Yeah.
think they have found enough of an identity, just artistically, the sound team as a whole, that if they had to do their own stuff, I think they can. But also, he's freelance. I don't think he's going to be that hard to get. From what I remember, he's not doing big projects nowadays. He doesn't have like any big anime or anything that he's working on consistently.
He's been on multiple
kinda just
animes
chills.
here and there. It just depends. We don't know what
He's
else.
not like
is going on, but-
seasonally doing it, if I remember though. He's not like constantly tenured.
But like,
Attack on
I
Titan
don't think
is
it would
one,
hurt
for
too much to
example.
just maybe come back and maybe give a couple more extra tracks or whatever, like, and just leave the rest as is.
I'm kind of thinking like future, like if this becomes something going forward. It's a different scenario versus like 10 years ago where one of the larger anime series of the past few decades was airing with him making music for it, also making a game, also doing a bunch of projects at the same time.
Yeah.
He has definitely scaled back compared to 10 years ago. And I'm not going to say X was put on hold because he couldn't make music, but I would not be shocked if the popularity of things and how integral he is to the identity of X, because the music sells X. You can't have X without the music, in my opinion.
But honestly, it fits
have
the
to do that
style too,
style.
because even at that point, he did like Attack on Titan music and stuff, but like he was already doing Gundam music too, so like
exactly
it was like fitting the theme of the mechas and everything so well.
And he has that heart. You can tell he has the heart for it.
Kill a Kill.
Yes.
Kill, yeah, too. Yeah.
Which adds on to what he was busy. He was doing so much back then. He has definitely reeled it back. So I don't think if he doesn't come back, I don't think it's because he was too busy, like I would have said like 5 or so years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think they're gonna try to keep the identity pretty much the same. So if they do new tracks, I have a good feeling that they're gonna contact him again.
Yeah. Or even then, they'd probably respect the style. Like I said, I could see them. They're a very flexible team. I could see them working around, especially with like Ace.
Or maybe they could do even a collab with him. Like
that would be great.
I could
see like that.
That would be really cool.
That would be really cool.
It would be a way to meld the series together, especially in case he can't come back for whatever sequel this could get. They'd already have established that style with a mashup, and then can just go forward with the new evolved style.
Anthony, you haven't said a lot. What are your thoughts?
My first Xenoblade Chronicles game was Xenoblade Cross, and I played about 6 hours of it, got totally confused and overwhelmed. Had no idea what I was doing. Game didn't really do a good job of teaching you how to play it. So after those 6 hours, I put the game down and never went back to it. But I'm looking forward to going back and revisiting it on the Switch, because I ended up really liking the other games, and I think that now that I know how to play those, I'll be able to play this and maybe see what you all see in it. And I'm excited for that. I'm also kind of like enthralled with the idea of being able to play a Xenoblade multiplayer. Like that sounds really cool, because it feels like it's something that the franchises should have always had. But yeah, it's it looks like it's going to be a really cool experience, and I love the updated art and the look of the game. It looks really good. And yeah, I'm excited. It's I can't think of anything else I wanted to say. Bring back the boob slider. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, you go rest.
Feel better.
Yeah, you go feel better. You need to rest.
Thank you for joining us.
Hey, no problem. Thanks. I'm sorry about this, guys.
No problem. Get well soon. Get well soon.
Yeah, fluids.
Take
some life hold.
Fluids might actually be doing it to me, so I'm gonna chill out with fluids. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. Take care.
Hey.
Okay. Well, there's one other comment on here. I have a feeling I know who said this, but
it was me.
Oh.
It was not Bart?
Robin, your dojins.
Oh god, that was just 100% a joke. That obviously now my Xenoblade Cross dojins are going to go up in value, and selling them is my retirement plan.
We finally get fog content going off in the way that it should.
Fog's such a good boy.
That being said, speaking of value, I mean, maybe we'll see the value of the Wii U game drop a little bit.
That too.
And it hasn't been crazy expensive, has it?
It's been going up recently.
It's not even complete because of the data packs, which also, we didn't mention this during graphics, but the game is 5 gigabytes smaller on Switch without data packs. It's now 15 gigabytes, where the Wii U version was 20 gigabytes with additional downloads. So it looks this much better, and they shrunk it.
It's probably they've gotten better at compressing too. Like
exactly
like their giant
that's
games, how
true.
much I compressed them to fit on the cartridge. I'm just like, you guys are doing witchcraft.
Right?
You
Even
guys are
Xenoblade 2
magicians.
started amazing small wise.
And even like the way they managed to do like huge worlds like this with that much details on consoles like that, I'm just like I think even the Wii U, like we were saying earlier, like it's kind of impressive they managed to do such a big world like that on the Wii U, because from what I've been reading for the spec wise, like the Wii U only had like what one gigabyte of RAM available outside of the system that was already taking the other gigabyte. So I'm like, how did you manage to make this run on this?
Black magic. It's why they took all the staff away from Xenoblade 2 and put it on Breath of the Wild, because they committed black magic.
They opened the Pandora box of it.
Literally.
Like literally.
I don't understand to this day. I even remember back then, because I never had like the most HD game I ever played was Portal, and that should tell you a lot. So when I got a Wii U and I played Xenoblade, I was like, whoa, this game can look like this. I didn't even notice how long it was loading until I played like the other games, and I was like, oh, wow, it's doing a lot, okay. But I was so impressed. It's just so magical. That's X as a whole. X is a very magical game, and I'm so happy more people are going to be able to play such a magical game
honestly,
with hopefully less barriers.
Like I said earlier, like even though I did hit a roadblock eventually with the story, because like I did not progress the way the story wanted me to progress with some things, I did have a shit ton of fun with it. Like I was going around exploring the world, looking at all the shiny. I was like, oh wow, it's so pretty. You know, I was even like, Radio mentioned, I think, in another podcast episode before, but or rather Nick, and like there were times where I was like literally like streaming on Discord or Skype. I can't remember back then. I think it was more Skype back then. But I was streaming with my very shitty webcam, looking at my TV to him, to show him how cool the game was. so yeah, like I was playing a lot back then. I was playing quite a bit, and I was having the time of my life. But like eventually, I just hit that roadblock, and I was like, "Okay, I'm done. I do love you, game, but too much grinding. I can't do it anymore."
Yeah, with hopefully with this version, they're able to, because I mean, yeah, there's a lot of roadblocks. There's a lot of things that kind of slow us down, but hopefully there's some quality of life things that make the game even more amazing than it was.
With how well they've been doing the quality of life thing with just Xenoblade 1 DE, where I could just I managed
I
to
cannot go
actually
back.
100% the game without being too distracted.
Right? I cannot
It
go
was
back to the
amazing.
original
Okay, I was
game.
like, oh my god, I can finally finish this game, because like in the first version of this game, and even the 3DS one was pretty much the same. There was just so many things thrown at you with like very little order in it, and it was just like so overwhelmed at the amount of side quests that I was just like never finishing. I was never progressing the story.
Yeah, if
But
they can.
with the DE edition, like they did such a better job at marking the map and everything, and giving you clear objectives, that I was just like, okay, now I understand what I need to do. So I'm gonna do XYZ, and then I was like, oh, look at that! I actually finished all the quests. I can go on with the story. Amazing.
They've also had a lot of criticism against these games to learn from them. Even Definitive Edition didn't make a lot of changes people wanted in terms of accessibility that then got into Xenoblade 3. I really think there's 10 years of them making projects for them to have grown and learned from criticisms.
They've been expanding, like, because what's cool with the Xenoblade series is that they kept more or less a very similar system, but they've been expanding on it over time. You know? So all of the mistakes of previous things that people commented on, they've been taking it in, and they've been like slowly making stuff better and easier to navigate through or read or whatever. So I'm just like, I have good hopes that maybe Xenoblade X will be a bit a bit or a lot better at it, but we shall see with more gameplay trailer, because I will only start to be a believer when I see gameplay.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at too.
That's the big thing. We talked a lot about story and like experience. The gameplay is going to be the biggest thing, and we've seen none of it. So we're really at a point of waiting and just trying to see how this is gonna go.
Watch it, they're gonna drop another trailer Tuesday, and we'll have to do another emergency.
Yeah, they
give us at least a month.
Give us a direct with all the new updates and quality of light stuff.
Actually, like
probably get an overview trailer.
It would be cool if they waited for the next direct to show the new trailer. That would be more gameplay. Because also, honestly, the point of this game is the gameplay more so than anything else.
Also, speaking of trailers, I mean, I just saw this on Twitter. So apparently, the announcement trailer for this is already at 1 million views, and that's in under a week. And just for like reference, like the lifetime views of the initial trailer for the Wii U game was like at something like 1.4 million,
which was 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, yeah,
Xenoblade has come up a long way, and I've seen also people have started to go back to the old trailer, so the view might even have gone up, because I was seeing comments of like, "Who's back here?"
Yeah, at the end of this episode, I'll put both the original trailer and the new definitive edition trailer.
Yeah,
just so people can see how far it's come.
Yeah, so while I'm not necessarily gonna say the game's gonna sell, I think it will sell better, but I'm not necessarily saying that. But I am saying that there's gonna be more eyes on this game than the original.
Yeah, but also it's gonna be a system that more people bought, because like the Wii U, like a lot of people bought it, but not that much, not nearly as much as the Switch. Like it was basically it released and it kind of went down, kind of like it did not even have a very long lifespan compared to the Switch. And the Switch, like everyone and their mom have a Switch, so it's just like, and a lot of people now play Xenoblade, so like I said, they're just gonna get it because it's Xenoblade. They just won't ask questions. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, I know this game will be good." They'll just get it.
Which, another thing that we should talk about before we wrap up, I think it's kind of interesting how this is the first Xenoblade game in a while that hasn't had a collector's edition.
Well,
so far, but I wouldn't go too far into it, because they tend to release announcement of collector in the second or third trailer after, and very last minute. So I would wait a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling, because it's too soon. We're like less than a week since it was announced. So
I would love if they reprinted the old one. If we got that art book that came with it as the new collector's edition,
because
that'd be
every time
and the USB
with Xenoblade, I've remembered like announcement for collectors always came later, like way after the reveals trailer or whatever. It's just that now it, like, unlike before, like before they used to show a reveal trailer way in advance. Now they wait until they're almost ready to reveal something, and then we're like, oh wait, only in a couple months, and we're just like, but they also kind of reveal the collectors like often at the second or third trailer after, from what I've seen as a trend. So I'm just like, let's wait a little bit more till the next trailer, and we'll see if they mention something then, and okay, pre-order now, and then we see all of the Wario images laughing at us on the Nintendo website.
Please let's not do the whole Xenoblade 3 special edition fiasco again.
Yeah, that won't be fun.
Honestly, I wish they would just do like before, where like all the retails could get the collector editions, because like buying on Nintendo website is like you're ordering on a toaster.
Yeah, but we'll see, and if we hear anything, we'll share it to everybody, and hopefully it'll be easier for everybody to get a hold of.
And XenoChat will go back to war with all the friends of XenoChat also chipping in to try and get copies.
Thanks again to everyone who helped me get the one for 3.
Oh
yeah. I had also gotten to with a friend of mine, like, helping me back then, but, like, I ended up finding someone local who wanted it and had missed it, so I was like, cool, I help another Xenoblade fan.
That's nice. Alright, well, I think is good enough talk of, at least for what we have right now, But of course, once we get to any more trailers or anything like that, we shall be talking again.
Yeah, for
real
sure.
Quick.
You can expect us to ramble another 2 hours on the next trailer.
Especially because we did 2 hours on just this. We'll be back.
Yeah. Right. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, and have a good night. Xenoblade X Definitive Edition is real.
Wow.
Well, here we are. Not too shabby, huh? For a giant beached spaceship, anyway. But, like it or not, this place is our home now. We took the name from the city it was modeled after back on Earth. We call it New Los Angeles. Welcome to NLA.
And so it was that another survivor came to join our band of refugees. Together, we resolved to forge a new way of life here on Mira, come what may. New LA was our beautiful lie to ourselves. Truth is, we were adrift, heading into the unknown. Our native home was gone, swallowed in a shroud of light. And our future was uncertain. We had no idea what fate lay in store for us. Only that we had to keep living in order to see it.
Fancy seeing you here.
Save the game?
Oh, what was that?
What happened to you guys,
I have
Mike?
no idea what that was.
Oh, it's okay.
That was somebody scrambling to go buy it.
I need it now.
I wouldn't blame them. It's a really nice figure. As somebody who does own it, so
It's fine.
if you use like the
Uh-oh.
yeah,
What?
somebody,
Who died?
What's up?
I
What?
don't know. Nothing joined. Okay, whatever.
It's something about this planet.
Insert Nick's audio here.
It's something about this planet.
Oh, he's kind of in the other room.
Oh,
Just
really?
make them up. Just make
really?
them up.
Did he? Why would he do this to me? Personally.
I can't believe he hates us.
Personally, I'm taking this personally.
Just make up opinions for him.
The Anthony we lost.
He hates everything about this. That's
Yeah, that
we
sounds
need to find
okay.
the Anthony that we lost.
Copy and everything.
I'm just gonna paste Nick's audio in again and just.
But then, like,
say
pitch it down a little.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're fine.
Started to feel kind of rough during the episode, and
Oh no!
Oh,
ended up- yeah, no, I think I might have some wrong with me, and I don't know what it is, but I ended up losing my lunch. TMI.
Oh,
Oh, I'm so sorry. If you need to go and relax, that's totally fine.
I do want to air my thoughts. So anyway.
Okay, good job!